All right, class, this is Miss Conlin coming at you with some classroom expectations. I wanted to make sure that I did this so that you knew exactly what my expectations were while I'm gone and when I get back. Miss Rogers will be reviewing this with you again, but once again, I wanted to make sure to communicate it myself so that there is no confusion. The first expectation that I have is that you are on time, on task, and prepared to learn every day. So what that means is that you are not running to my classroom as the bell's ringing. You need to get there before the bell rings, and you should not be running down the hall because that is an unsafe situation for you and the people around you. Be on task. So that means listening to instructions, not being distracted or goofing around with the person next to you. And if the person next to you is goofing around, tell them to stop and do that politely, nicely, and quietly. But that you are listening to directions and that you're completing your work. If you have a question, you're confused, you weren't here the day before, so you don't really know what we're doing, please ask. But make sure that you use your resources as well. So being prepared to learn means using your notes that you have, using any handouts that I previously gave to you, making sure that you pay attention during videos and things like that. So I want this to be fun for you, but in order for that to happen, you need to make sure every day that you're coming prepared, on time, and on task. Keep all electronics out of the way unless you're told to use them. So, to be more specific and very clear with you, your phone does not need to be out during class. There are very specific moments where I will tell you how and when to use your phone, but on the daily, you don't need it. You have a computer in this room that will be assigned to you. You can do all of the research there. The few instances, like I said, very specific how and when to use it. A few examples would be taking pictures of your final project or of steps throughout your project. So it's taking different stages of completion of a project. There are some times when we do individual sketching assignments or maybe some math assignment, some problems like that where you don't really need to be talking to anybody, so you can listen to your own music. I have no problem with that. But on the whole, on the regular, your phone needs to be away. To be more specific, your phone should be placed in your backpack, not in your pocket. In your pocket, you can still feel your notifications and whatnot. So better off to put it in your backpack so that it is not distracting. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be a crazy person that hates phones. That's definitely not the case. But there is definitely a time and place for your phone and to be using it. And during class, when you've got a lot of other things going on, that is not the time. So please make sure that you respect this expectation of mine. Once again, knowing that there will be times when you can take your phone out and use it, but those are very specific, and I will let you know when that is. Being responsible for your own learning. So that can look like a lot of different things. This meme on the right says, I'll facilitate your learning, you're responsible for your learning. So that means asking questions when you have them. That means taking your own notes the way that they make sense to you. That means doing a little research if you don't know something and not just kind of going with the flow and assuming that you know something or assuming the person next to you told you the right thing. And that definitely means turning in work on time. My late work policy is pretty clear. You lose 10 points a day for every day that it's late, up until 5 days. So that's one school week that you have to turn things in late. After that, it's a 0. You can't hand it in 8 days from when it was due. So please make sure you hand things in on time. So being responsible for your own learning is also paying attention when instructions are given and those sorts of things. If somebody is sitting next to you and they're very obnoxious, you can tell me that you want your seat moved. I have no problem with that. I respect and appreciate that a heck of a lot more than you not getting your work done or you fooling around with somebody next to you. So being responsible and taking responsibility for your choices. Okay, nobody else is making your choices, you are. And I think that's a big part of being in high school, is learning that and learning how to do that. Respect your teacher, the classroom, and other students. So I think my biggest rule here is respect, and it all kind of comes down to that. We all have heard the old saying, treat people as you want to be treated. I think we can even do better than that. Treat people better than you'd want somebody to treat you, because I think being pleasantly surprised with somebody being nice to you is a heck of a lot better than being mean. So I have no problem with you calling me Conlin or Mrs. Conlin or Miss Conlin. Those are all very respectful things to do. Make sure you learn the people around you and learn their names. I think knowing somebody's name is the first step in respect. And then respecting the classroom, that means you're putting stuff away. If you don't know where something goes, you ask me. You're cleaning up any trash that you see on the ground. You're putting things away at the end of the period. And that you're not drawing on my tables or marking up the tables or mistreating or misusing things. So the classroom is the building, the classroom, and everything in it. And then, once again, I think it all comes down to being respectful, and just don't be mean and don't be rude and don't be a jerk. I think it makes everybody's day a whole lot better if you're being nice and you're respecting each other and you're speaking in that way. Trash goes in the trash can. There's a lot of times when we use a lot of different things, a lot of different materials, different tools, and we create a lot of mess sometimes. And next week you'll see that. We're going to be making a lot of messes. That is why I have 3 trash cans and a recycling bin. So there's a big trash can back by the 3D printers or the robotics field, somewhere around there. There's a smaller trash can up by the front table in the podium area. And then there's another small trash can in the far back corner over by the pencil sharpener. So there's 3 different trash cans in this room. You can find one to throw something away. There's also a sink, paper towel, and soap dispensers in this room. So if you get messy, you can clean yourself up. I just ask that you don't make a mess of the sink area. But that is something that is that's really handy to have, and I'm appreciative that we do, because it comes in handy. We also have a paper recycling bin up by the front table in the podium area. The paper that goes in there is plain white paper. If you have anything else that needs to go in the trash can, if you have plastic bottles that you get from the cafeteria or cans of juice or whatever, cartons of milk, those don't go in there. It's not a catch-all recycling. It is just for plain white paper. It goes in that paper recycling bin. So I just ask that you pick up after yourself, you put your things away, and you help me keep this room clean. So my next segment here of expectations are using the computers. Okay, so we have a really awesome computer lab down here. I know a lot of you, it's just a computer lab. It's just a school computer lab, not a big deal, nothing fancy. These are some of the best computers on the campus because we use some high-level software that requires a great deal of memory and a good video card. So these computers I don't fool around with, and neither should you. Okay, so let's go through some of these expectations that I have. There is no food or drink by the computers, not even water. Okay, that just is helpful for not keeping things from getting broken. And I see I have a typo, so everybody can can look at that. Not event water. Not even water. If you do have stuff, because I know a lot of you are athletes, and I get that you're coming from or going to workouts and whatnot, and that's fine. If you need to drink water, I'm totally okay with that. But it's got to be in a clear bottle that can be sealed. It can't be a styrofoam cup. It can't be a thermos. So it needs to be in a clear or see-through bottle that can be sealed, and you can put that next to you on the floor if you want to do that. Number 2, don't play games of any kind on school computers. Okay, not even the little Google little dinosaur game. That is not the place for that. Y'all have your own phones and your own devices to do that on. And typically, when you're on the computer, you have a task and you have an assignment or a project to be working on. So if you're on the computers, you're doing your work for this class and not anything else. Number 3, don't plug phones or flash drives into the computers. So there's a lot of weird things that people can transfer using phones and flash drives, and there's a lot of things that can damage the computer. So I'd appreciate it if you don't do that. If you need to charge your phone, there's a charging station over by the sink. There's 4 charging ports, so you can use those. If you need to bring files from home and you're going to do stuff at home and at school and you need to transfer those, you need to use Google Drive for that. If you don't know how to use that, I can definitely show you. Or you can email it back and forth to yourself. Number 4, put the monitors back in the lowest position and straighten any angles. That means I don't want the computer kicked back at a crazy angle or all sideways and wonky. Some people are taller, so they raise the monitors up just a little bit, but I'd appreciate it if you, when you're done with it, just slide the computer monitor all the way down and straighten it out for me. That'd be wonderfully appreciated. Number 5, do not change the desktop background or move any icons. Guys, it's really not that important that you do that stuff. It's kind of a waste of time because it gets changed back to its default settings. So let's not mess with that because A, these computers aren't yours, and B, it doesn't really matter that much. Number 6, push in your chairs after using the computers. That is because there are a lot of you guys in this room. There's a lot of stuff in this room, tables, stools, chairs, a lot of equipment. If we don't push in chairs, we're going to be tripping and falling, and that's a hazard. So we don't want to do that. Please help me in keeping the room clean and organized by pushing those chairs in. And then the last rule is you're going to log into the same computer that you are assigned or that you choose on the first week of school. Do not switch computers unless I reassign your seat. Okay, that is huge. The reason we do this is not for my benefit, not because I'm crazy and whatever. It is because there's only a certain amount of different users that can log into these computers until it won't let anyone access anything on there. It won't let them log in at all. So I'd appreciate it if you would stay logged in, choose a computer. You'll do that tomorrow on the second day of school. Choose a computer that matches your table number and sit at that computer and sit next to somebody that you can handle and that you're not going to get distracted by. But you're going to sit at that same computer the entire year unless I tell you otherwise. All right, guys, these are my rules and expectations. I'd really appreciate it if you start getting in the habit and following these. Once again, most of my classroom expectations are just good life rules or good life expectations, just being a good person and a good student and a good citizen. So I don't think they should be too hard, but once again, Miss Rogers will reinforce anything that needs to be reinforced or review anything if you forgot. So, all right, thank you guys for listening.